Hey guys, Rich from Rich Me Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastically well. Well, just when we thought there wasn't going to be anything else spoiled for this week, on a live stream we've just had over on Twitch, we've seen 3 brand new cards for Valkyrie, Enchantress, and Medusa. And I've got to say, these are 3 characters that are definitely in the upper echelon of the bell curve for each of their respective threat levels. So definitely characters that I think needed bringing down a peg or 2. So what we'll do is take a look at each card side by side and we'll see what the changes are and run through them one by one. So starting off then, we have got Brunhild, aka Valkyrie. So let's start with her stats then. She's still 3s across the board. She is still 6 stamina on her front, so we're assuming she's going to be 6 on her back as well. Still a threat 3, still a size 2, still a medium move, so nothing from that side has changed. Let's look at her 2 attacks then. So starting with her builder, the strike. This is still a range 2, 5 strength, 0 cost, and it's still power equal to the damage dealt, so nothing has changed there. Dragon Fang. The one thing I'm going to say about Dragon Fang is it's really easy now to tell that this is a physical attack. The old card, as you can see, had the yellow background on there, and it always confused me and made me think it was an energy attack. So it was 273 before, it is 273 again, but we can see that it automatically does the bleed condition as we had before. However, on the flurry, there is another trigger now. In the past, it was just a wild. It now needs a wild and a crit. So that's quite a big difference. But on 7 dice, I think that's still not too bad. I'm not too concerned about that. On average, on 7 dice, you're more than likely going to be rolling a crit. So yeah, not too concerned about that. And I think it brings it down a peg or 2. It means that although yes, you're more often than not going to get it, the chances are is that every now and then you won't, and that feels kind of better. Let's have a look then at her superpower. So Asgardian Might, cost 2 power, size 2, within range 2, throw it short. And Asgardian Might, okay, so it remains exactly the same. However, it has gone up by a power to 3. Now, this is really interesting for those turn 1 plays that we discussed actually very, very recently in our Asgardians video, which you can find too somewhere around here. So it means that she's no longer able to double move and throw turn 1, which, whilst it's not the end of the world, it does remove some of those turn 1 plays like I mentioned. So yeah, very, very interesting on that side of it. Still possible with an advanced R&D and that sort of thing, but yeah, straight off the bat, she's not going to be able to do that turn 1. Her charge then, it's still an action, it's still 2 power, that's exactly the same. Warrior of Legend then, just reading through this quickly, exactly the same, nothing there has changed, and once again she is an Asgardian, so gains 1 extra power in the power phase. So two little tweaks there, 1 extra power for Asgardian Might, and then the extra crit on the Dragon Fang for the flurry. I think that's fair. I think she's got a good kit, and those 2 extra little things are enough to bring her down to that sort of normal bell curve. She's still going to be very good. She's still in the upper tier of 3 threat just because of what she can do on the board. But overall, I think these are some really, really solid changes to Valkyrie. Okay then, next on the list is Enchantress, aka Amora. And once again, let's start then with those base stats and see if anything has changed. So she was 225 on her original card. She's once again 225, 6 stamina on front and back as we're assuming, still a 4 threat, still a size 2, still a medium move. So once again, nothing has changed on her core stats. She's got 2 attacks to go through. So let's start then with Spurned Affection, which is her builder. Now this was a beam 3, strength 5, and it looks like it has remained exactly the same. So it's still a beam 3, it's still a strength 5, and it's still, after the attack is resolved, character gains 1, and then we've still got the sap power on there as well. So yeah, that looks exactly the same. And then Enthrall, the 3 triggers for slow, stun and stagger have all remained the same, and it is 373. So again, no changes there to her attacks. But actually, that wasn't the problem. And I can see already that they have resolved one of the problems, and that is Amora's Kiss. Now, you remember in the video when me and Quinn broke down each of the characters that we would like to see a change for, you'll be able to find a link to that here. This is the one thing that we said. So Amora's Kiss, it works in exactly the same way. However, now it is an action. Costs 3 power, but it is an action. Why is this important? Well, it means that she can no longer Siren's Call somebody in, Amora's Kiss, and then double move away, making it very, very difficult to get hold of her. Still very powerful, especially if she's the last player, especially if she's the last character to activate. But yeah, very, very, very happy with that change. Hell Hath No Fury has remained exactly the same. It's a 3 cost, size 2, and throw it medium within range 3. Siren's Call, this is also one that has had a change as well. The power cost is the same, but it's the last little part of the wording there. It used to say a character can be made to advance by this superpower only once per turn. It is now this superpower can only be used once per turn. So again, really happy with that. It was definitely something she needed. She could just generate so much power with Spurned Affection, and the fact she was an Asgardian. She could just move so many characters around the board. So yeah, super happy with that. And then going back down again, Asgardian, Enchanting and Flight, so nothing else has changed. So once again, 2 changes. Amora's Kiss is now an action, and Siren's Call has now been reduced to once per turn, as opposed to every character can be moved once per turn. So yeah, again, is this going to push her down from being arguably the best, at least one of the 2 best 4 threats in the game? I don't think so. She's still a very, very strong character. And I think that you're still going to see her appear in lots of rosters, both in and out of affiliation. So yeah, super happy with this one as well. I think for me tonight, that is 2 for 2 for Atomic Mass Games at the moment. So let's jump over then and take a look at the last card of the evening. And the last card of the evening then, and it's one that Quinn always tries to make me pronounce, so it is Medusa, aka Medusalith Amaquelin Boltagon. I've probably murdered that, but there we go. Once again, let's start with her base stats. So she was 3s across the board. She's still 3s across the board. 6 stamina front and back. Medium move. Size 2, threat 4. So once again, nothing changing with those base stats. And to be honest with you, they didn't need to. So let's then look at Braid Bash, because I think this is where we're going to see some of the biggest changes. It was a range 3, strength 5. It is still a range 3, strength 5, and it still gains power equal to the damage dealt. So the first change is the push. If the character is size 3 or less, before damage is dealt, this character may push the target character. So 2 things have changed here. First of all, there has been the removal of damage. So in the past, you used to have dealt damage before you could do this, but there is a trigger on there now as well. So it's a wild trigger. So interesting. I think you're more than likely going to get this off on 5 dice. I think you were probably more likely when it was just damage before, but I still think you've got a very, very good chance of getting this off. But the big change is going to be on that flurry. So in the past, the flurry was just a wild. It is now needing a wild and a crit. I think this was absolutely needed. That combination of Braid Bash, push was just ridiculous. You'll still be able to do that if you pull everything off, but you are far less likely to be able to do that within a single attack. So Really, really happy with it. For me, that was the one thing that needed changing on her card, but we will go through the rest of it and see if there is anything else that has been done. But yeah, hats off AMG. Super, super happy that you guys have changed that. So split ends, area 2, 7 and 6. What I am going to say is I think this is the first area attack that we've seen so far. I was expecting these area attacks to reduce in power, because I just don't think they are worth the value. I would much rather do a braid bash than do a split ends, because we can just do another attack. So it's interesting, especially as the flurry on the braid bash doesn't have to attack the initial character, the initial target character. So yeah, I'd have liked to have seen split ends drop down, maybe 5, maybe even 4 power. But yeah, it is what it is. Hair flip, size 3, within range 3, throw it short, cost 3 power, exactly the same. Royal Decree looks like it is exactly the same as well. Inhuman obviously remains the same. And then Living Strands, let's just read this through. Yeah, looks like it is exactly the same as well. So yeah, she definitely needed some kind of, I'm not going to call it a nerf, but a recalibration, if you will, of how that braid bash worked, because it was by far the best builder in the game, without second to none, basically. So yeah, super, super happy about the changes. I really would have liked to have seen those area attacks reduced in power. If they haven't done it here, it kind of feels like they're not going to do it anywhere else. Because as I say, I just very, very rarely find myself doing them, but who knows, they may change some others moving forward. Guys, I want to remind everybody that in a week's time, we're going to be doing our massive streamathon. We've got some fantastic games lined up for you. You can find details of all of those in the link down in the description below. We've also got some amazing giveaways. The number of local gaming stores and other sorts of people who have come forward and donated giveaways so that you guys can actually get something out of the I'll keep saying evening, but it's like evening, morning, day, and then evening again session. So a huge shout out to the guys at Elysium Wargaming, to Blackgate Games, to Leodis Games, to the Union County Gaming guys, and our latest sponsor, which is Kogotu. So anyone that doesn't know Kogotu, they do some amazing customized rangers, tokens, that kind of thing. So we've got some fantastic prizes to give away. So make sure you check out that live stream happening on the 28th of October. It's a Thursday evening, UK time, starting at 7:45, kicking off with a game against Marcus that I'm really looking forward to, and ending it at 11 p.m, 27 hours later, with our last game against Chewy89. So yeah, super, super looking forward to it. Guys, it's all in aid of a fantastic charity, the Candlelighters charity. For those that don't know, it's a charity local to me. They're a children's cancer charity, and they do some fantastic work supporting not only children that are suffering with cancer, but the family around them as well. They give them some respite, they give them financial aid. Absolutely fantastic charity. So everything that is raised, both in the run up to and on the evening, is going to be donated to the Candlelighters charity. Just by turning up and watching, you are helping the channel out. You are helping out the charity. Because all of the monetization for the month of October is going to be donated directly to Candlelighters. But if you do have a spare dollar, pound, euro that you're not spending on Marvel Crisis Protocol figures, well, please head down to the Just Giving page, again, link in the description below, and any amount is absolutely, from my heart, really, really welcomed. It makes a massive difference. These guys do a fantastic job. And as I say, every single pound, dollar and euro that you guys donate goes a long, long way to helping both a child with cancer, but also the family around them as well. Guys, as always, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, bye for now.